good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and talking about uh, Gen AI and AI as a technology. I'm going to talk about the usage and abuses of Gen AI by business professionals. Uh, I think a lot has already been talked. People are talking about Gen AI, and this technology has taken the world by storm. Now, everybody jumped on the bandwagon and then started exploring this technology, that how they can use this technology for their own benefit without even thinking about that what repercussion it will have on the society or on the world as a whole. So we are going to talk about the positive and the negative of this Gen AI, and what as a community, a business leader community, that we can take some measures to really make this technology beneficial for ourselves and the humanity as a whole. So let me start sharing my screen, and let me know if you are able to see it. Okay, perfect. Uh, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see my presentation, right? So in order to understand the usage and the power of Gen AI, we need to think that how the world is changing right now. And I always say that, if you want to predict the future, it is best to go back to the history and see that, what has changed, because that will give you a lot of cues that, what is going to happen in the future. So let's take, let's go back to 10, 15 years, right? When we started the digital transformation journey. At that time, what we wanted is that we wanted a technology that can help us to execute the process fast. Hence, we got mobile app, web app, some digital application where, we can go log in, do some work, and then that execute the process in a much efficient and the faster way. Right? And that's the world we came from. So the entire technology, digital, internet is helping us to execute the process efficiently. But that was the case before. Now, what is changing? Now, we don't even need to execute the process. I think Gen AI and AI will execute the process for us, right? So they will execute the process. We just need to monitor it, govern it, that they are executing it in a right way. And just to give you the example, because this is the fundamental shift that is going to happen in future. So if you want to book a ticket for a movie, for a train, or anything, right now you open the app, right? You search it, and then you basically complete your transaction by your own. But few years down the line, you will just ask the agentic AI, the agent, that, okay, I want to go and I want to book this ticket, just look at the best price and execute it. That agent will have to search on the internet that what is the best price, what is the best option based on your requirement, and it will come up with the recommendation, and it will say that, oh, I found this one. This is the perfect match because of this reason. Do you want me to execute it? If you say yes, it will execute it. So what you did is you actually did not execute the process. It is the agent, AI assistant, who executed the process for you. So that is the fundamental shift is going to happen in future. What does that mean? That means that we have to fundamentally change the business operating model or the way of our own thinking and working process. Because everything will be automated and executed by agent. So where we have to focus now is to govern that agent. Right now, where we are focusing on is executing the process. Right? So that's a fundamental shift that we need to do it. And now, since you know the power of AI, that it can execute the process by itself, then you can imagine that, how powerful this technology is. So what is that at the moment? Now you know the power of this technology. So now people have realized that power. Now we have positive impact and we have negative impact. I mean, people are using this technology for their own benefit, and sometimes you get the applications which are benefit for the society in general. So everybody has started using that. And now we are starting blaming the technology. But I mean, the technology is the technology. It is us who will use that technology and how we will use and govern this workflow. And I always take an analogy of AI with electricity. I mean, electricity is electricity, right? Now it is up to human, up to us, that how we can use the electricity to transform the world. Some people are using the electricity to make a good application, which is beneficial for the society. Some people are using it for the destructive way. So the similar potential that we have it. Now I'm going to talk about that how people are exploiting this AI in a bad way. Okay. So if you understand that how people are exploiting it, you uh, might want to able to reduce the bad usage of that. So this is the study done by Google, and they try to map the main categories of misuse of Gen AI, that how people are misusing this generative AI as a technology. And if you look at the top 3 or 4 reasons, so if you look at the left hand side of the graph, it basically says that out of 100% of Gen AI misuse cases, more than 23% is for the impersonation, uh, amplification, falsified information, right? People are creating a wrong narrative or an untruth narrative, right, based on content generation, image generation, video generation, because you can practically generate any content, you can practically generate any images or any voice in no time, and then you can create a false propaganda, right? So those are some of the areas where people are abusing this technology a lot. And then Google went further and Google said that, but what was the intent, but why they were trying to use it in a negative way. So on a right hand side, if you look at, okay, so they try to map the use the misuse of Gen AI with the intent, that what were the intent of people, organization, uh, and because of that they are using this technology for the negative impact. So the number one reason was opinion manipulation. So if you look at all social media, X, uh, Facebook, Twitter, you see lot of uh, content, right? Some are right, some are right wing, left wing, or opinionated based. Lot of content that people are uh, including it on the social media. Uh, both from content side, image side, video side, right? And those are fake images, fake videos, fake content, right? And it was generated by ChatGPT or similar technology. But why? Because they want to manipulate your opinion, right? And that is the real threat of misusing of this Gen AI, right? So what we have to do is we have to govern, right? Because we cannot change it, right? We cannot change the people's behavior. People will generate this bad content. But what you have to do is you have to put your own intelligence that whether it is right or wrong, right? And how would you do that? So basically, there are tools which will help you to understand whether this is a fake video, whether it is a fake content or not. So So the way we have to live in the world going forward is that we need to be extra cautious, right? Till the time the regulation comes into the play where, we will have a proper guardrails, we will have a proper, uh, I would say the governance mechanism that, what or how you should put the content on the social media or giving it to the society. At that, until that, we need to be cautious that, whatever we we read, listen, or watch, uh, yeah, we should take it as a in a more cautious way. And there are other intents for which people use that. For example, uh, monetizing profit, right? So I'll give you one example, right? Uh, you have the product, right? But you really want a very good content which can actually generate lot of curiosity around the market, and it can actually bring a lot of traffic. Then what you do is, right, uh, you don't want to go and go to genuine content creator who can actually sit with you, understand your product proposition, and really create a very customized content. you know People do not want to take it, right? People say that, oh, I have this chat gpt, I'll just write a content, whether it is right to right, correct, or authentic, but I don't care, because it will help me to fetch the audience, or it will help me to fetch the traffic. So that's how. So if your ulterior motive is the profit, or a modern, profit, or your personal benefit, then you use it in a bad manner. And likewise, we have many examples. So that is what is it happening at the moment. Uh, I focus more on the misuse, because the usage of Gen AI is plenty. The positive usage. I mean, look at the productivity of the world. The productivity has increased. Look at the the time that we spend on the operational issue is very less. Now we have more time where we can actually become more creative. We can focus more uh, uh, on giving the better society to our next generation. So we can work on that. So there are plenty of advantages. So, and I always say that, don't put onus on this particular technology, because you cannot undermine the potential and the benefit of this technology, uh, the with the negative aspect. So I always say that you should not penalize the 95% of human, because of the 5% misdeed of the bad people. It goes same for generative AI. Beneficial is immense. Benefits are immense, right? What we need to do is, we just need to ring fence the bad behavior and see that how we can reduce the usage of bad behavior, so then the humanity and the world can benefit with the positive benefits. So that is what it is going to happen. And how it is going to happen is, it is going to happen in two ways. Number one, from the technical community side, and number two, from the uh, overall ecosystem perspective. So I'm going to talk about both the aspects now. So first, let's talk about the technical perspective. See, all this application that you are using it, whether it is a deep flake, whether it is a chat GPT, whether it is a code comprehension application. So there are many good applications, and there are many bad applications as well. But uh, somebody would have developed that, right? So and what is that community that developed it? It is the developer community. It is the technical community, technical community. So there are good technical communities, and there are some bad technical communities. And now the dilemma for them is that, how do we use it? Could always focus on these 5 or 6 things, right? In order to create a good application. A good the developers always think about data privacy and usage. What kind of data I'm taking in order to train my algorithms, right? Whether I'm allowed to take that, whether I so first allow whether I'm allowed to use them. Then the second is that should I use it? For example, should my application differentiate between male and female? Like if suppose if I'm building an application of loan, right? Um, should I differentiate between female and male? The answer is probably not. So those kind of conscious decisions that you need to take it when you build the AI application. Usage, right? What is the intent of this application? Is it a right usage, or it is the right purpose for which I need to build the application? Sometimes, sometimes some people say that, oh, we should build this application, but the developer community refuses to build that application because they think that this particular application will create a negative impact on the society. So, so that's a dilemma that, what should be the data privacy usage? Then the second is the maintain neutrality while coding. So what happens is that, AI is at the end of the day is a piece of algorithm, right? How you trained it. Now it's a piece of code, how we code it. So I can tweak my code to um, basically bring the biasness towards a uh, certain community, towards a certain aspect of the ecosystem where I want my algorithm to focus on. So how, as a developer, I should create a neutrality so that I don't favor or I don't bring the bias, right? So that's a dilemma, right? And it is not easy. It is easier said than done, right? You require tons of experience in this area, so that that what how we should code it. So that's a very important aspect. The third is the unconscious bias in the data. See, at the end of the day, people say that, oh, AI, you dump the data, AI will figure it out by itself, that what data it should pick up, and then it should provide you the result. It doesn't work like that, right? It is a very myopic view. The people who have not uh, developed any algorithm, they can talk about that, but the community knows that how we can, how important the data aspect in terms of the AI application development. If you if if you do not give unbiased data, right, your result will never be unbiased, right? So if you give a biased data, and I'll give you one example, right? I want to train my LLM on India, right? And I'll just pick up five major state, say Maharashtra, Gujarat, say Chennai, Delhi, and from Calcutta, right? And I say that I got this data, and now I'll train that model, and I'll say that this model is available. This model can work for India, right? Across India. Will that work? The answer is no, because I'm giving, so it's an unconscious bias, because I thought that, 40% of the population or 20% of the population lives in these five metro cities. So if I take the data of this, probably, it will represent the entire India, right? But that is the unconscious bias. Nobody's fault, but we have not thought through that, how I can actually, take the holistic data so that I can represent the entire universe. Right? And that's where the developer biasness comes. Culture, social pattern, again, I've talked about that, so I'll not go into the details. Transparency and accountability, right? That is one of the key aspects, to build trust on the good application of GenAI, right? that whenever, so right now, if you look at ChatGPT, if you type anything on ChatGPT or any foundational LLM, so to say, and if you type it and say that, how did you get this answer, right? Did you get the response back? The answer is no, because they are trained on the publicly available information. But take that LLM, did that foundational model, then trained it on your data, and then provide the transparency. So if I create a banking application of the loan, say loan sanctioning application, and then if you say that, oh, can I eligible for this particular loan? I'll say that, sure, give me these following details and I'll assess your loan application. And if you provide those five or six information to the application, it will go and it will say that, oh, yes, you are eligible or you are not eligible. And if you ask that, why, then it will actually provide you the list of all the things that he went and he checked, and then he gave, okay, I referred this particular document, this particular column where it has mentioned, and because of that, we are not able to provide you the loan, or we are able to provide you the loan. So those kind of transparency and accountabilities are required. Control, definitely. You cannot leave agentic AI on its own, right? You have to put controls, you have to put governance, that it is our responsibility that to say, yes, go ahead, or no, go ahead, right? So you have to have that kind of autonomy and control. Otherwise, that you can expect some weird result. So these are some of the dilemma that the technical community is there. Now, what is other communities doing, right? Government, regulators, as a business community, right? What they are doing is they are doing a lot. They are doing a lot to manage this ecosystem so that it is fair, transparent, and also provide you the value. So what are those controls? So these are the four major areas where the fraternities are coming together and creating the policies, framework, measures that every developers or a Gen AI application development companies have to follow. So for example, governance and policy control. Every company has to form a AI ethics committee, right? So all the application that you are building, it has to go and get the go ahead from the AI ethics committee. There has to be a clear AI policy across organization, that what they can use, what they cannot use, right? And without that framework, and in fact, they should create that mechanism that even if they want to go outside this framework, the system will not allow them to go outside this framework. So that's the number two. Compliance with regulation. I've already talked about that. Stakeholder engagement. Obviously, the success of AI application will only depend upon if all the stakeholders come together and discuss, both from the usage perspective and from the technical perspective. So you need to create that kind of I would say, a task force which will always talk about that transparency policy, which we have talked about that. Then there are certain data management controls, like example, how do you manage the data, right? And I'll give you one more example that, how people are controlling the data. For example, like we work in Xebia, we have the HR chatbot. Now, if you ask about this, and there are many policies, PDFs that, we have, some depending upon the level of the roles and level of the employees in the organization, they are allowed to read certain policies or certain documents. So, but there is only a single chatbot, right? So if I go and I type it, right, maybe I'm allowed to refer to a particular document, but the other person may not be allowed to refer to the other person. So how do I put the inbuilt control, a data control, that even if the other person is asking some question, which the answer will come from the restricted document, then the chatbot should throw the error or tell them that you are not allowed to read that document, right? So these are some of the controls on the data pipe that we need to put it. So bias is one of the key problems in Gen AI. So there has to be a proper data governance and data selection method that for each application, what kind of data that you can use it. So there has to be a bias mitigation techniques, so that it is your application is fair, genuine, and benefit for them. So while governance and data management control are for the developers or for the AI development, but on the other side, we have to provide a lot of training and awareness to the people who will use it, right? From the business user side, from the general people side, that how do you use this application, right? Now, more often than not, I hear from business user, oh, this application is giving me the wrong answer. And I said that, application cannot give you the wrong answer. It is that you are asking the wrong question, or you are not asking the question in the right way. So there is a bit of training and awareness is required, like, how do you write a prompt? And I give you one example, right? When we were kids, at that time, right, we did not have Google or a digital ecosystem where we had all the information. At that time, we had the question in our mind, and we used to roam around. We used to go to library. We used to go to our teacher, or we used to talk to a lot of people to really get the answer, because answer was not in one place, right? And so at that time we used to focus more on getting the answer, and that's how we have trained. Now, fast forward in today's scenario, we have all the answers simply, right? So you can ask any Gen AI application, they can give you all the answers. So you have all the answers. Now, what we have to do is we have to ask the right question. So I think our focus should be how to ask the right question. And that's where we have to give a bit of training to everyone. That I always say, better the question, the better the answer you will get from Gen AI. So a bit of training is required where people should understand that how the prompt training will work. Then the last but not least is the user engagement control, that users are allowed to use the generative AI in a responsible way. So even if, like, for example, there has to be control that such deep fake sort of application cannot be built. And even if it is built, right, the user will not be able to generate the fake content. So that's at a government level or at a big company's level, right? They need to kind of create the overarching rule that even if business user tries to do that, they will not allowed to do that. So these are some of the controls that are being discussed, and people are taking it to make the AI and Gen AI world more responsible.